Good morning, Aylesford class. Hope you're all well. Welcome to Tuesday's learning. So I think this could be our last computing lesson of year 4, which is a bit of a shame. So hopefully we're going to have a good one this morning. So first things first, we're going to go into times table rock stars. These are the latest scores from this evening. I'm recording this Monday evening. So the scores might be slightly different when you guys log on. This is what I can see at the minute, and you can see we're down here. We've got a sort of a slender lead over Rutum, but I wouldn't say we can't be caught. We're about 50 points ahead, so still plenty of points to get. So let's see if we can try and spend 25 minutes on times table rock stars and work as a class to get a really big, healthy lead over Rutum so they can't catch us up. So that's your first task. And then once you've done that, we're going to then continue to do some computing, all based on 2Logo. So once you log on to 2Logo, the best way to do it is to search for in the toolbar, so 2 and then L for logo, and look, 2L, and then here we go, 2Logo. So I'm going to click on that and press launch. Now you might remember when you did this a few weeks ago, this is a text programming program. So what it is down the side here, we've got loads of different commands. And when we type these commands in, these are instructions that tell the computer what we want the computer to do. So my top tip is when you're doing this is to make sure the grid is on, because that allows you to work out how many squares you want to move the arrow forward. And also, if you are not sure about your code, it might be a good idea to put your speed down to slow so you can actually see what your arrow is doing. But once you're happy with it, you can then move it to fast if you want to. So I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle about that. So last week, you might have remembered we could enter in different commands and make the arrow do certain things. And if you're ever unsure, down the right-hand side here, these are the commands you can use. If you ever forget, look here. So say, for example, I wanted to do a square. I could type in FD, which stands for forward. Let's do 4 for 4 squares. And then you might remember last time that if you need to make your arrow turn, you have to put in a command either right or left. So I want to make mine go right, so RT for right. Then you need to write down the number of degrees you want your arrow to turn. So I want to do a square, and I know squares have 4 right angles, or 4 angles with 90 degrees. So I'm going to do 90. And then I want it to go forward again, 4, and then another turn 90. And if I look at my instructions, it's going to go forward 4, then turn right 90 degrees. Now forward 4, then turn right 90 degrees. I need to go forward 4 again, and then turn 90. And then I want to go forward again. And then when I press play, this is what happens. So you can see it's made my square. Now, what we're going to try and learn today is we're going to learn a special tool that you can do to save you time. Because if you look down here, that took me a little while to do all these instructions, and it can take a bit of time to do that over and over and over again. So what I'm going to teach you to do is something called a procedure. A procedure just means a set of instructions. You think about our fire drill procedure. It's just a set of instructions that we all follow. So a procedure is something that we're going to make the computer do. And over here, there's a box that says My Procedures. And you can see in a minute, there's nothing in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to press the plus button, and we're going to make a procedure. And I want to do a square like I did before. So it's always a good idea to give your procedure a sensible name, a name that makes sense. So I would like this procedure to be called square because I want to make a square. And I'm going to do the same code I did before. So forward 4, right 90, forward 4, right 90, forward. 90, forward, 4. And then once I'm happy with it, I can press OK. Now, rather than me having to type out this instruction all over again, now what I need to do is just go over to procedure. And can you see where the arrow turns into a little hand with a grey border? Click on that, and you can see it's popped up down the bottom. And now if I press play again, it's going to make my procedure. It's going to follow the procedure and make a square. So I'm going to do it again. And let's do it one more time. So you can hear, you can see, because I've done this procedure, it's now made it a lot quicker for me. And what's really nice about this is you can actually experiment with procedures. If I move my arrow to another location, how about there? And I do the same thing, so I'm going to do this time. You can actually have fun with making little patterns. So here we go, look. Let's do it again. And let's do it one more time. So I've made sort of this squared sort of patterns. So it's quite good fun. Now, for me to do that, I needed to have to drag. I had to select square procedure 4 times in order to make this pattern. So there's another way we can do this, which speeds it up, and that's the repeat action. So here's repeat action here. So if I click on that, there's repeat. And you can see here in this purple box, it's given us an example so we can see what we need to do. So if I do it again, it says repeat equals a repeat set of instructions. For example, repeat 4. And you might have seen there that I needed to put my instructions in brackets. So say if I want it to do this 4 times, I would press repeat RPT space 4. And then I need to do brackets. Now, you are used to seeing in your English books curved brackets that look like this, okay? And the computer doesn't really recognize those ones for code. I don't know why. So we're going to do ones that look like this. And they're made with sort of these straight lines instead. And you can find these on your keyboard. Usually they're on the right-hand side of your keyboard by the Enter key. So I'm going to do one that looks like this, sort of like an open bracket. And now what I'm going to do is I want it to do my square procedure again. And you might see there's a space there. Can you see there's a space between bracket and square? I don't want a space, so I'm going to make sure there's no space there. And then I'm going to put my close bracket like that. So now I'm telling the computer I want to repeat this procedure 4 times. And now, if I press play, it's going to repeat that procedure 4 times. You see it's following along the lines I've already done. And if I move my mouse to a different location, so it's time to move it over here. Now, rather than having to do that all over again, if I want to do the same procedure, I can just press down here. Now let's press play and see what we get. Right, so we're making some more shapes here. Another thing you can do, which we haven't spoken about, and this is where you can start to have fun making art with Logo, you can actually change the color of the ink. So you can see here in our logo commands here, we've got a pen color option. So it says set PC. So if I press it, it says I get to set the pen color. So how about I set it to red? So I've set the pen color, so set PC, and then I'll type in red. And then what I'm going to do is press the space bar, and then I'm going to do this repeat action again. Set pen color to red, and then repeat for square. Let's see if this works. Ooh, I don't know how to set. So let's try again. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I put a space. So if I do this again, look, I put a space between here. So this is what I'm doing. It's called a bug on your computer. So sometimes if the code doesn't work, you have to debug the code. Let's try again. Oh, there we go. So it's following my instructions now. It's going to repeat it 4 times. There we go. And maybe if I move it over here, this time I'm going to set my pen color rather to red. I wonder if I can do a different one. How about purple? Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, here we go, purple. Oh, my arrow's gone off the screen. So you can see very quickly, you can have fun with setting a procedure and changing the color to make different pictures and patterns, okay? Now, what you're going to do is when you have a practice of creating your own procedures, and you don't always have to do squares. So for example, if I start a new one, you could make a procedure of any shape. So for example, if I do a triangle, this time I might want to make my arrow go forward 4, turn right, and I need to think about the degrees in a triangle. I know that it's got 3 angles and each angle will add up to 180. So how about I have, let's do an equilateral triangle, so 60 degrees. So forward 4, right 60, forward 4, right 60, forward. And now I'm going to change it. I'm thinking my arrow's going to go forward 4, then it's going to rotate, forward 4, then it's going to rotate, forward 4, then it's going to rotate. So how about I change it to forward 5. So now let's see what happens. So I'm going to do my triangle, press play. So it actually hasn't made a triangle, has it? It's sort of made almost like, if I do it again, it's going to make, here we go, shape here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So it's a pentagon, 6 sides, or a hexagon even with 6 sides. Okay, so now what I can do is if I do repeat RPZ, and I want to repeat this 4 times, and then do triangle again and see what we get. Now I forgot something, so I wonder if anyone can see what I've forgotten. What I needed to do was I needed to put this in my brackets. So that's what I forgot to do. So let's do that. Let's see. There we go. So it's going over and over the same shape, isn't it? So what I might need to do is I might need to change my procedure. So what I need to do is go to my pen icon here, and this allows me to then change the procedure and make it a bit different. So this time, let's see if we can do something a bit different. How about we do forward 9, and we'll do forward 6, and we'll do forward 7. Now it's not going to make a triangle, so how about I rename this shape? And I'm going to press OK. Right, let's see what happens if I do shape. Ah, so it's made a different shape. Now, this is where we can have a bit of fun, because what I can do is this time I'm going to do the repeat action. But this time I'm going to repeat 10. And I'm going to do my shape. And my other one, my other bracket. Oh, I've got a space here, so let's get to that. Now let's press play and see what we get. So part of it's gone off. So it's sort of going over now the same part each time. So what I quite like to do then is to stop it going over and over the same line each time. I want to change the angle on my very last instruction so that the arrow is on a slightly different path. So I'm going to go back to my shape, and I'm going to change my angle right at the end. How about angle right? Let's do a fairly small degree. Let's do, in fact, if I do 95, that's a right turn, isn't it? Just about 90 is a right turn. So how about 95 is a little bit slower right turn. Now let's see if this works. So part of this is having fun experimenting. It might not work to begin with, but half the fun is having a go. Right, let's repeat it and see what we get this time. Oh, that angle I put in has really set it. Oh, I'm getting all sorts of shapes now has actually gone off the side. Oh, it's back again. So you can have lots of fun actually changing the coding, and you can actually have these different sorts of patterns. It's like different art that you can create. So what I need to do, guys, is have a go at creating your own procedure and then see whether you can then also set it to repeat a procedure and then see what sort of patterns you can make, because you can make all sorts of really interesting patterns that go round and round and round and round, different colors as well. So see how you get on, and let's see what interesting patterns you can make with your procedures. So once you finish your procedure, after you come back from playtime, you can carry on doing procedures, but you can also have time to do your Lexia reading program, which you started last week. So you should have your password and your username set up now. Have a go for the rest of this morning, also getting on Lexia as well and doing some reading challenges. So I hope you have lots of fun this morning on Logo, and also you have a cracking afternoon in Forest School. And I'll see you tomorrow for Wednesday's learning. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon.